Hey guys, welcome back to The Wire. It's time for Shot Clock. We have 3 questions on deck. Matthew and I going head-to-head, a little debate session. You ready to roll?
Let's do it, man.
All right, get us started with question number 1.
Gentlemen, let's start off this segment of the Shot Clock talking Dallas Cowboys. Earlier this week, they signed the best free agent on the market, Greg Hardy, but many are against this move due to his off-the-field problems. Do you think Jerry Jones and company made the right choice?
The latest Cowboy has stirred up a lot of buzz throughout the whole state of Texas and really all across the country. This is a guy that you either are on one side of the fence or you're really on the other. Is he a good football player? Yes, but has he had plenty of off-the-field issues involving domestic violence? Absolutely. You know, being arrested for domestic violence, absolutely nothing to take lightly there.
Affidavit especially.
Yeah, crazy situation, and so there's a lot of teams that just passed up on him. They said, we're not interested. I think it came down to the Bucks and the Cowboys as 2 teams that were possible new homes for Hardy. I don't think they made the right decision. I would just move on. That's not somebody that I would want on my team. I'm all about second chances, but at the end of the day, we're talking about domestic violence. You're also talking about a 6-game suspension at least if he's found guilty through the NFL's investigation, and so I'm just not a fan of seeing him on the Cowboys.
From a sole football perspective, they did make the right move. Let's not forget the Cowboys are in desperate need of a premium pass rusher. They haven't had one since DeMarcus Ware 2 seasons ago. All this move did was solidify where they stood as a franchise. What did they tolerate? Jerry Jones, once again, not afraid to roll the dice on a polarizing character. Terrell Owens, no better than that. You had Tank Johnson, Pac-Man Jones, even a player on their current team that just came back. Yeah. Josh Brett, Jonah's best friend. You go back even further, Alonzo Spellman, Charles Haley, just guys that Jerry Jones has no problem with. They fit that image, but can you play for me?
Yeah, you got Joseph Randall, too, shoplifting from a department store.
Another one.
No worries about him. You're back on the team.
He's still on the team, yeah.
Interesting move. It's something that, you're not surprised with because you see the past instances with the Cowboys, but at the same time, it's a little bit risky for their image.
True colors.
Yeah.
Next question. Earlier this past week, first-year linebacker Chris Borland suddenly retired due to his concerns about concussions. Do you think we'll start to see a trend of players retiring before 30?
Last season, the NFL reported 123 concussions throughout the whole season, which is a pretty significant number, but it is lowering from the year before that. I don't think this is going to become a trend. I think at 24 years old, there are so many guys out there that for every Chris Borland, there's a dozen other players who want his position. Football is so competitive. Everybody wants to play in the NFL. That's a dream for everybody. And while that is becoming an issue about concussions and things like that, I think that's not going away anytime soon. The game's still going to go on. They're still going to make sure that football is as safe as it can possibly be. But there's, again, plenty of guys out there that are willing to take the hits for the millions of dollars.
Absolutely, and live their dream. I think definitely it might start a trend of players retiring, but like you said, one man leaves, another man enters. The cycle continues. Maybe the level of competition goes down just a little bit more with these significant players, but let's not forget the average span of players playing in the NFL, 3.5 years. Really not a lot of time. You know, I definitely think it will, not just for head trauma, players being aware of that, but for walking in general. I mean, 50, 60 years old, you see Earl Campbell can barely even walk. You want to get to walk with your grandkids, and you're seeing these examples of these warriors, especially running backs, pound after pound after hit after hit.
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't you want to prolong your life potentially just by a sport? I mean, you're making a crap ton of money, let's be real, what's going on right now for the first year. So what Borland did, it was cool to give back the 49ers at least 3/4 of that bonus that he earned. I'm sure he could do another profession. He just didn't love the game that much enough, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't that he was taking millions of dollars away just to play 1 year. Like you said, he turned back a lot of his money, and this was all about just head injuries and his worries about that. So you can't blame the guy for stepping away from football if that's something you want to do. But at the same time, when you step out on the field, you strap up, your chin strap, you know what you're getting involved in, and a lot of those players are willing to take the risk.
All right, and finally, moving to the NBA. Yesterday, 2-time MVP Steve Nash decided to hang up his sneakers and retire. So where does Nash rank to you in the greatest point guard discussion?
I think Matthew and I both have enjoyed Steve Nash. That's one of those guys that's during our time, and he's been one of the. He's just a baller out there. Him and Dirk with the Mavs especially were great. You know, these past couple years he's been injured. That's kind of been a downhill to see him go out that way. At the end of the day, ranking him overall, I really don't have him in my top 10. I think there's a lot of point guards. There's so many good competition. I think for me, I would start a team with Magic Johnson as my best point guard ever. I think Isaiah Thomas and guys like John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, they all fall into my top 10 probably. At the end of the day, though, Nash won back-to-back MVPs. That's just wild to me. 2005 and 2006, there's not many guys out there, especially at the point guard position, who have been able to accomplish that. He also was the best free throw shooter of all time to this date, 90.4% from the charity stripe. So at the end, I like Steve Nash, but he's got a lot of competition if we're talking top point guards of all time.
The Canadian kid from UC Santa Clara, also the only player under 6'6" to win back-to-back MVPs, or let alone 2 MVPs. It's crazy. In my list, I got this. I got Magic Johnson number 1. You can't dispute the all-time 6'8", point guard, just dishing and scoring. Oscar Robertson, the only player in NBA history to average a triple-double in a season. I think that outweighs any hardware. That's crazy what he did. Got John Stockton after that, the all-time assist leader, steals leader. Can't argue with the stats. He didn't win a championship. That's the only knock on him, though. After that, Isaiah Thomas, pound for pound, the best point guard to play. Aches, pains, he didn't care. He played. He won back-to-back titles with the Pistons in the Jordan era. Come on now. That's got to say something. After that, Jason Kidd. I mean, it comes down to Jason Kidd, Steve Nash for me. So I have Jason Kidd just a little bit ahead of Steve Nash, but Steve Nash right there on my number 6 spot. Gary Payton, not far behind. We won a championship.
Nash, a lot of fun to watch. You know, one of the most offensively efficient players in the game, all around, and just a good teammate.
Oh my God, his IQ level was ridiculous.
All right, that's your shot clock. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you for our questions. That does it for another round of Shot Clock. The Wire returns after this, though. The soccer season's come down. It's time for playoffs. We're going to take you back through the week, and we're going to show you what's coming up next with soccer playoffs. That's next right here on The Wire.